You know, I don't get too many comments and recommending about this game at all. Oh, well, that some games were left forgotten and ones that never got a reboot or ones that already did sucked. To have a pretty good franchise. But it's already been nearly at least 7 years since I did the last Silent Hill. Believe me, I already have one. That Silent Hill movie from 2012. Oh, based off Silent Hill 3. But I think it's finally time to talk about how it all began. It's been 20 years since Silent Hill will have a pretty good franchise of 4 good games and ones are less successful. So we're gonna start how it all began. And that this game came out in the early 90s for PlayStation 1 was getting close to its near end. And in the early 2003, yeah, that's what year that the PlayStation 1 came to an end. And we had to get ones for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, even PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. The story's plain and simple. Oh, you're playing a character named Harry Mason who's looking for his daughter Cheryl in an abandoned place called, well, the same title of the game, Silent Hill.
Where are you going? Hey, wait! Stop!
You get attacked by some creatures and randomly end up in a building. And you meet the character, her comp name.
Was I dreaming? How do you feel? Oh, like I've been run over by a truck.
I'll just let her explain.
Glad to hear it.
And who she is.
Wait a second, I'm just a tourist. I came here for a vacation. I just got here. I don't know what happened. I'd like to find out myself. Have you seen a little girl? Just turned 7 last month. Short and black hair. My daughter. Sorry. The only person I've seen in this town is you. Where is everybody? I tell you if I did, believe me.
It's pretty abandoned, by the way. A bunch of creatures running around the city. I mean the town.
What's your name? Harry. Harry Mason. Sybil Bennett. I'm a police officer from Graham, the next town over. Phones are all dead. And the radio too. I'm going back to calling you for report.
Okay, straight to game. This game is kind of like Resident Evil. You have to select items, health, how many you carry in the game. This is pretty much basically the franchise. These are the group of all games that's been around like pretty much 20 years now. You wander around the town trying to find where Cheryl's at. As long as you collect enough bullets and other weapons on the way, you'll carry a knife or a katana sword. Yes, there's one in this game or the other sequels. And if you're thinking that's snow, no, it isn't. It's actually ashes. Because a long time ago, before any of these creatures showed up, there was a girl that looks like Cheryl. Who had like sorcery powers and thinks she's a witch and burn her at the stake. Hey, but someday she'll return and wreak vengeance, and she succeeded in destroying the people that burned her alive, which is pretty messed up for a horror game. But it's pretty true that the place called Silent Hill all went to heck. To this game's credit, it's pretty scary. Yeah, the most parts. I only played like half of it. I did beat in Silent Hill 3 and number 2, and most likely Downpour. But I did not get past like most likely the levels without looking on YouTube like everybody else does. Well, you'll be doing solving puzzles and searching for helpful items. And not to mention, sometimes there'll be like jump scares. There's in most parts of the game that'll make you jump out of your seat on how randomly wild it gets, and then it makes you shake in your control. You'll be like really terrified, and you'll be hearing your radio sound, which by the way alarms you if there's any creatures nearby. Because once it makes that ringing sound, you just know that there'll be creatures nearby all around the corners. There's everywhere you go. You can either fight them or just ignore them. There will be some rooms that you can't get through without solving the puzzles. You have to find those points of items by looking on the map on where you're supposed to go, or what you're supposed to do. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes you'll randomly die. But make sure you'll have like a save file room, just like Resident Evil old series is of 1, 2, and 3. And 4, you'll have to find a safe room and make sure you got just make sure you got enough file room to save this game as much as you can. Yep, just like that, it'll do a pretty surprise jump scare. Sometimes you'll find in the keys that'll help you on the way throughout your journey of the gameplay. You'll find like big bosses too, including a giant moth. Also, when you complete most of the stages, you'll get an X mark on how much you've done so far. You also, I guess I'm saying that, meet some other interesting characters that are part of the story of the origin of Silent Hill's backstory a little bit. You'll help them with their problems too. My favorite character in the gameplay is when you meet a random nurse lady who are trying to help the children from the so-called disease. It's a human nurse lady, which I can't remember her name, but there are like nurse ladies too, but the ones that are creepy and downright disturbing. And I always find these rooms really creepy too. They're like all bloody, all rusty, and not to mention the music can be making the scene very intensely horrifyingly and terrifyingly creepy. To be truthful with the Silent Hill franchise, these games can be very dark scenes. As long as you carry the light, you'll probably see where you're going. My favorite part from this game are the random cutscenes. At times they'll be like well animated cutscenes, and when you talk to the characters, the cutscenes are well done, animated. Yes, Dahlia is pretty much the main villain of the game too. You do get like an explanation on why the town is too crimson and most likely swallowed by the darkness. But anyways, your basic goal in this game is to find Harry Mason's daughter. And not only that, once you get to the final stage, you'll want to make sure you get the good ending. And you finally catch up with Cheryl, and Dahlia is treating her really bad. And like that, she turns into a monster in the very end of the final battle. And ending Dahlia is alive for good. Shows her true form. And you have no choice but to fight her. But you want to make sure you collect everything. Either you take too long in the levels. You'll probably beat this game in less than 2 or 3 hours. Not only that, it has several different endings. You want to make sure you'll have the chance to save Cheryl. Also, you can get the good ending. So Harry Mason and Abel can escape from Silent Hill. There are other different endings. The UFO ending, the aliens that take him away. If you don't do good, you'll get the bad ending and Harry Mason dies. I'll get to my overall for this game in part 2 of this interesting review of Silent Hill PlayStation 1. So I'll see you in part 2 of the Silent Hill beginning of this game. See you in the next one!